Chapter 5. How we breathe. Respiratory system. We breathe in air to live. We take in air through our nose. The air then travels down the windpipe into the lungs. When the air reaches the lungs, we need to breathe out. The nose, windpipe, and the lungs together form the respiratory system. The air we take in is called inhaled air. The air we breathe out is rich in carbon dioxide and is also known as exhaled air. The process of taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide is called breathing. Breathing is called inhalation. Breathing out is called exhalation.
Hi, so this chapter is about how we breathe. As you have seen how our respiratory system is. So you can see here the diagram. You can see this is the nose. From here it is the windpipe. There are two lungs inside the rib cage, and here it's diaphragm. We'll see this in detail. So we breathe in air to live. We know that we cannot stop the respiration. We never stop breathing. Even if we are sleeping, working, studying, or playing, whatever we are doing, even while eating, we continuously breathe. We take in air through our nose. The air then travels through the windpipe into the lung like this. From this windpipe, the air goes into the lungs. When the air reaches the lungs, we need to breathe out. So what are the parts of our respiratory system? Nose, windpipe and lungs together. So there are two kinds of airs, inhaled air and exhaled air. The air that we take inside is inhaled air, and the air that comes out of our nose is exhaled air. Now whenever we take the air inside, so we take the oxygen inside, and when we give out the air, we leave the carbon dioxide. So process of taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide both together is called as breathing. Now breathing is combination of two things, inhalation and exhalation. So whenever you take the air inside, it is called inhalation. Whenever you breathe out or leave the air, is called exhalation.
The lungs are two sponge-like cone-shaped structures that fill most of the chest cavity. Their essential function is to provide oxygen from inhaled air to the bloodstream and to exhale carbon dioxide. Below the lungs is a muscle called the diaphragm. During inhalation, the diaphragm contracts and moves downwards, while during exhalation, it moves upwards. This movement changes the size of chest cavity.
As we have seen it in the previous picture, and you can see it here also, this is the diaphragm. Okay, so whenever you inhale, okay, during the inhalation the diaphragm contracts, means whenever you take the air inside, your diaphragm muscle will be smaller, and whenever you exhale, your diaphragm muscle will be expanded. So how are our lungs? The lungs are the lungs are two sponge-like cone-shaped structures that fill most of the chest cavity, and their essential function is, what's their essential function? To provide oxygen from air to the bloodstream and whatever air we have used or whatever oxygen we have used, it will provide it back in the form of carbon dioxide. So let's see the difference in between breathing and the respiration.
Breathing is a physical process in which we inhale and exhale in and out of our lungs. Respiration is a chemical process reaction in which oxygen is used to break down glucose in our body in order to generate energy, which is then used by the cells to function.
We get confused so many times. Is breathing is equal to respiration? But definitely not. So breathing is just a physical process in which we inhale and exhale air in and out of our lungs. Means it is just like doing, like, moving your hand or something like that. So it is a physical process. But during the respiration, what happens? So much complicated thing. It is a chemical process in which oxygen is used to break down glucose in our body in order to generate energy. Now, where is this glucose coming from? Whatever you eat, whether it is sweet, sour, salty, doesn't matter. Whatever food you eat gets converted into glucose. Now, so many people say that if you had a heavy meal or something, don't forget to walk for a while, right? In Hindi or Marathi, they call it as Shatapauli. Like after your food, you should walk at least 100 steps. Why? So that you will inhale more and more oxygen, and that oxygen will help you to digest your food. So what is the main function of the oxygen? It will be used to break down the glucose in our body. So what is the difference? Breathing is a physical process and respiration is a chemical process.
Exercise. Regular exercise benefits our body and overall health. It is good for our muscles and bones. It helps us maintain proper weight. It makes us feel happy, increases our energy levels, and is also good for our memory. Our heart, which is a muscular organ, gets a workout during exercise too. When we exercise, our muscles work harder and demand more oxygen. This demand stimulates the heart to beat faster and with more force, which increases the overall blood flow.
So exercise ultimately help in respiration and for the overall body, that we know. So how does it happens? Regular exercise benefit our body and overall health. It is good for our muscles and bones. How? As soon as you start exercising, you will breathe more and more. So you will inhale and exhale very fast and rapidly. Right? So you will get more oxygen, which will ultimately go to your muscles and bones. So by exercising, it will make us feel happy, it will increase our energy level, and definitely more blood will be passed to our brain. Hence, it will help us in enhancing our memory also. Our heart, which is a muscular organ. Why do they say so? Because there are no bones in our heart. It is completely a muscular organ. So whenever you do exercise, like you are running or doing any kind of workout, you must have seen that your heart beats faster, isn't it? So what happens in this case? Our muscles work harder and demand more oxygen. That's why whenever you are exercising, you breathe rapidly.
Deep breathing. Deep breathing is a simple breathing exercise that helps in the exchange of gases. It is done by contracting the diaphragm. Sit or stand comfortably with a good posture Place your hands on your sides on the lower ribs. Focus on your breath. Inhale through your nose for about 3 to 4 seconds. While you do this, push out your abdomen. The belly will expand and the lungs will expand completely. Feel your ribs move down. Hold your breath for 3 to 4 seconds. Then exhale for about 3 to 4 seconds through your mouth. The lungs will contract completely when the air is exhaled.
So, here is a simple exercise to feel your breathing process, and you can actually feel your diaphragm moving. So, what you have to do? You have to inhale, like first of all, sit or stand comfortably with a good posture. Good posture means what? You are not supposed to take any support. Sit or stand firmly. Then you have to place your hands on your sides of the on the lower rib. Where is your lower rib? It's your last rib. Now you have to focus on your breath. So inhale, like inhale in a deep way. Don't just once, like go deep breath. Okay, while you do this, push your abdomen. So you'll have to again apply some pressure using your hands. You can feel the air will make your belly bigger, it will make it expanded. Also you will feel your lungs also are little bit heavier because of the air. Now you can also feel your ribs move down. Now after holding your breath, you simply have to release it again for 3 to 4 seconds, but this time you have to use your mouth. Now this time your lungs will contract because you are pushing out the air.
Blow hot, blow cold. Have you ever tried to warm your hands during the winters by blowing air on your palms from your mouth when they are cold? Try doing this and see if it works. How do you find the air from your mouth as compared to the air around? Is it hotter or cooler? Now, put your hands at some distance from your mouth and blow again. Does the air from your mouth feel cold or warm? Discuss. Here are two situations. Karan is trying to cool the soup by blowing on it. What do you think will be hotter? Karan's soup or the air he blew from his mouth? It is a winter evening. Lakshmi is feeling very cold. She is sitting inside the quilt and blowing air on her hands. What do you think is cooler or, or colder? Her breath or her hands? Why?
So here is a fun fact for all of us. Blow hot, blow cold. So whenever it's winter, right, we start warming our hands by rubbing on them, and also when we rub on them, we also try to blow air onto the palms. Why? Because the air inside our mouth is somewhat hotter or even warmer, isn't it? It will make us like or help us to like warm up our hands. Now if it's cool outside, our air in the mouth is somewhat hotter, isn't it? Now here is the situation. Karan is trying to cool the soup by blowing on it. So they are asking us what's hotter, Karan's soup or the air he blew from his mouth. Of course the soup is hotter. That's why Karan is trying to cool it down by blowing the air. Now whenever you blow the air from some distance, it is somewhat normal. Now whenever it's winter and now Lakshmi is feeling cold, what is she doing? She is sitting inside the quilt just like all of us. And what is she doing? So generally during the winters, our palms and the soles of our foots, they get very cold, So what is she trying to do? She's trying to warm herself. So what do you think is colder, her breath or her hands? So definitely her hands are colder. And why? Her breath is inside her mouth and her hands are open. So that's why her hands are colder. Thank you.